Hello everyone, in this video we're going to learn the if function and also the and or functions to build an easier nested if formula type. So, the if function helps us to bring a result of a predetermined situation. So let's say that we're a teacher and we graded our students and the pass score is 75. To be able to easily determine whether or not they passed, we can easily write an if formula instead of writing manually. So all you have to do first is build your logical test, which is this cell, which is the score, is being greater or being equal to 75. Or you can also choose the cell with, of course, absolute references. So when we copy and paste our formula, it doesn't shift. Your logical test will either bring you the result false or true. If this was something like 80, which is greater than 75, the result was going to be true. But let's choose the cell back again. So the if function will later on ask me what to bring when the value is true and what to bring when the value is false. So put your delimiter, and if your logical test is true, we want student to pass. So write pass in quotation marks. Don't forget to put quotation marks if you write a text or string in a formula. So put your delimiter, and if the logical test is false, then we want student to fail. Close the parenthesis and then hit enter. Now you can easily see that the if function calculated the score and bring the result automatically. You can also choose the cell instead of writing manually. Of course, put your absolute references so it doesn't shift when you copy and paste. So instead of writing your text, you can easily select your cells for the options. Now, the only thing that you have to do is copy the cell and then choose the whole area and then paste special as formulas. As you can see, the formula helped us to determine whether they passed or failed. You can use these operators to build up your logical tests. Now, let's go to our second example. Let's say that we have the sales representative in here, their quota, and the sales that they made. So the exercise wants to know two things: whether or not they met their quota, and if they do, what are the bonuses? And the bonus is the 20% of dollars over their quota. So let's write our if formula. So if the actual sales is greater than or equal to the quota, then put your delimiter, say yes. And if they couldn't, write no with quotation marks. Now all you have to do is copy and paste as formulas to other cells. Now that we have the quotas, now we can calculate the bonus if only they met their quota. So now that we found whether or not if they met their quota, we can calculate their bonus. All we need to do is write a second if formula for if they met their quota, which is this being yes. Put your delimiter, put your delimiter, and then if this is yes, then we want the 20% of the difference between the sales and the quota. Put your delimiter again, and if not, which if not scenario is this cell being no, then there's no bonus at all. close the parentheses, and then hit enter. Now we can easily see whether or not they have bonus, and if they have, how much is it. Now let's go to a scenario where there is a nested if. A nested if is an if formula type, which is an if function within an if function. So let's say that we have the students and the scores, and the teacher asked a very hard bonus question and said, even if you fail in scores, if you answer the question correctly, you will pass anyway. So all we need to do is write an if function. If this score is greater than or equal to 75, then pass. If not, now we have to write our second if, which is if the student answered the bonus question correctly, which is this cell equals to yes, then pass again, and if not, then fail. Close your parentheses for your first if statement, and then close it again for the second one. Then hit enter. Now you will be able to see your result. Copy and paste it as formula. Of course, you can always make the formula dynamic by just choosing the cells for referencing, and instead of pass, you can just select the pass cell, and then for fail, you can also choose the fail cell. Of course, don't forget to put absolute references so that when you copy and paste your formula, it doesn't shift. So this is how we build up our nested function. Now let's make the exercise a bit harder. Additionally, let's say that if they had greater than 75 and also they answered the bonus question correctly, the student's category will be distinction. To do that in an easier way, we need to learn the AND and OR function. So, what does the AND and OR function do? The AND function will return true or false depending on the scenarios we present. To be able to get a result for true, we need all the logicals to be true, such as 5 is bigger than 3, 7 bigger than 5, or 6 being bigger than 2. You can add as many logicals as you want in the AND function. Close the parentheses and then hit enter. Because all these statements in here are true, we get the result true. Even if one of them is wrong, we were going to get false. For example, 6 being less than 2. Just because one of them is wrong, we got the false. But in the OR function, we only need one statement to be true so that it returns as true. For example, 5 being bigger than 3 and 3 being bigger than 5. If this was an AND function, it was going to turn as false. But since we're using OR, one of them can be a false statement. All we need is one true statement. So when you're going to hit enter, we're going to have true as a result. So let's head back to the exercise where we have these as a category. Now we have 4 scenarios. If they passed the score and solved the bonus question correctly, they will be in distinction. Even if they fail as in the score, but solve the bonus question correctly, they will pass. And even if they pass the score but failed in the bonus question, they will pass. And if they fail in both, they will fail. So let's write our if formula. If, now we write AND formula to determine the distinction scenario. We want this score to be greater than or equal to 75. Put your delimiter and then write the second logical test, which is this cell is equal to yes. Close the parenthesis and then put your delimiter. If this scenario is true, we need it to be categorized as distinction, or you can just choose it from this cell and here with absolute references. Put your delimiter. Now let's write our second if function and use OR. Write OR and then write your logicals, which is this score is greater than or equal to 75. Put your delimiter, or this equals to yes. Close the parenthesis, put your delimiter, and if this logical test is true, then we want the student to pass. And if not, which we determined all the scenarios, and the only scenario that it is left is to fail. So if everything we mentioned in here didn't happen, the only option that is rest is fail. So put it in absolute references again, close the parenthesis, and then again, because we have two if statements. Hit enter, and then you will be able to see the result easily. All you have to do is copy and paste the formulas. I hope this video was informative enough to teach you the if function and also nested if functions, and hoped you liked the video. And if you did, please don't forget to hit the like button and also subscribe. Thanks for watching and have a lovely day.